screws, it'll take like 75 iron ingots. But that, I think, is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. So I suppose I'm going to need a factory for those too. Rods and screws. I'm going to come over here for a bit and have a look at the constructor recipes. Let me see. If I pick a recipe, I guess it does sort of tell you. Yeah, the less time something takes, the more it needs at once. I mean, I think if you have a look at the concrete, that's real straightforward, but on the plates, that's 6 seconds. But the smelter, wait, those are 2 seconds. I don't know, maybe you can't tell. One thing I don't want to do is mess with this in... So you know what I ought to do? Just for the sake of doing this, I ought to build a constructor, like an experimental one, so that I can measure just how long things take to build. So constructors need 2 iron plates. What do they need again? 2 iron plates, 8 cables. I made just enough cables. So I'm going to have to make more of them. Yeah, I know I'm making more of them when I have a whole factory that's putting them out, but alright. Let's see. 24 divided by 4 is 6. I wonder if I'm going to need a factory for reinforced iron plates. I think eventually I will. I'll put that... This is the input. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not exactly automated, is it? So, let's talk iron rods here. 15 ingots per minute. And the smelter puts out 30. So, once again, I'm going to have to use a splitter. And then the iron rods come out at 15 a minute. What about screws? 10 a minute and 40 a minute? Oh my goodness. Okay. I suppose this is why we need boxes. To act as buffers. I mean, if I have like 2 rods and the rods are coming out at 15 a minute, you merge them back in, you get 30 a minute. Then I have to split this 3. I knew I'd be doing this. I knew I'd be splitting these 3 ways to make screws. So I guess I'm not going to have a factory for rods. Or, no, you know what, strike that. I might just have a factory for rods. Like, just rods. Versus screws. I guess it's a little bit flexible. Because I'll have a factory... I'll have a box. The box will accept rods. But it'll also have rods taken out of it to make screws. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was slightly less complicated than... where's the hub? There it is. Than that, all that stuff with the copper. So let's go over what we need here. We need a miner. I've got a portable miner to spare. And concrete, so that's fine. I need a biomass burner. 15 rods, 25 wire. Okay, and then the constructors. Well, okay, I need a splitter, 2 cables. Oh, you know what else I need? Copper ingots. I'm out of them, but I'm not out of copper ore. I suppose you can use the portable miner and dig some copper ore, but all right. Oops. Well, I'm gonna need cable anyway, so it's not so bad. What else? Do I need a merger? Yeah, I do. So I'm gonna have to merge the output into the box. So that's 2 more rods. And the constructors. Oh, brother. All right. 2 for 2 for rods, 1 for screws. That's 6 reinforced iron plates. And 6 reinforced iron plates. That's, how many screws in an iron plate? 12 times 6, 72 screws. That's a lot. 72 divided by 4. 72 divided by 4 is 18. Actually, I have 18 right now. So I'll just make 72 screws. Oh. And 6 reinforced iron plates. Okay. All right, you know, since this thing is, since the iron deposit is right there, I might just start throwing this together here right now, because okay, I've got the where do I want to direct it? Over this way, maybe? I mean, yeah, I do have this sudden dip in the land to worry about, but I suppose that's why there's conveyor belts. So I'm going to aim it so that the output is facing me, but which way am I facing? I'll make it this way. Okay. So go back to my constructor that I use for reference. 15 iron rods a minute. Actually, no, strike that. I need a smelter first, right? So, smelter. I don't want there to be land in the way. Okay, done. Yeah, the smelter's kind of on stilts there because of that dip in the land. And just to confirm, iron ingots, 30 a minute. But rod factors only take 15 a minute. So, splitter right here. It'll come out of the smelter. Oh boy, bottled lightning. Right there. And there we go. Short and a bit steep for a conveyor belt right now, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. The constructors, let's see. I need more cable. I need 16 cable. I suppose I could go over to the wire and cable place and take from there. I still want to get an idea of how much you can put out in a run, in like a full stack of biomass, you know? Hold on a second, let me see. I don't think I have to clear the land over there. I am gonna need to put them next to not next to each other, but parallel to each other. And I don't know how easy or difficult it is to do that. You know, I'm just gonna clear away some of this while I'm thinking about it. Last thing I want to do is waste these by dumping big machines on top of them. Kind of to tell footprints here too, you know, how much space something takes up on land. So that goes over there. And this over here, and they should be parallel. Alright. Yeah, they're next to each other, but they're practically on top of each other. Okay, so next, the merger. I have just enough rods for that. The input, or not the input, the output should be facing me. There we go. And yeah, the terrain's a bit bumpy here. You know what I ought to do? Start using some of this terrain, which means, I guess, turning things to the side a little. Like, okay, let me see. Storage box. Nine more rods. keep overshooting like this. I don't know how bad of a thing it is per se, but maybe I just don't like doing that. I'm gonna stand here so they can see where the outputs and the inputs are relative to the splitter. Look, see, or sorry, the merger. See, I can, if I put it here, then the direction that it's going is out there. You know, where there's room. Of course, I'm only going to need like one constructor in another box, but I suppose things are a bit flexible here. Wait a minute. Something I was afraid of there. Okay, fine. It's going to be facing me anyway. Just so that it doesn't block the output of the merger. Yeah, and it did sort of block it, but not really. Not enough. So it didn't block it, it just got in its way a little bit. Okay, another constructor. Eight more cables. Let me just throw together a few more copper ingots here. I might as well kill the stack while I'm thinking about it. Of course, when I've run out of ingots, I'll just take a hop over to the wire and cable factory. You know, a tightrope. Okay, so the constructor will face this way. And finally, the box, which will be stored right in the back of the hub. Sorry, right behind the hub here. Wouldn't you know it? Can't believe this. I'm out of plates. Let me see if there's more available over here at Flatland Plates. Well, wouldn't you believe it? There are. I don't know, maybe I could disassemble that constructor, but I need that to reference like recipes, you know, how much, you know, the rate of input, the rate of output, that sort of thing. I'm probably going to need that back of the envelope to calculate. Well, this was relatively simple. I don't think I needed it. Not for this one. Later, though, I imagine they really are going to be that complicated going forward. Okay, so let's see. This constructor makes screws. This constructor makes rods. I might need to revise this a little later on, so that I produce more screws. Right now, I don't need so many. Just double checking. Okay, let's talk power here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 is 20, plus the extra 1 for the miner is 21. So that should be covered by a biomass burner. Now let's talk poles here. 1, 2, 3, yeah, that should be covered by one pole. 1, 2, that should be covered by another pole. And the connection to the first pole, and the last connection to the biomass burner. So I only need 2 poles. I'm always overdoing it with this. Alright, first pole, I'm guessing should be around, well, it should be close enough. Now how about here? Oh, I need cables. Forgot about them. Can I go through this entrance? Well. How would I calculate this? Well, let me think. There's one connection per machine plus one, plus the one between the poles. So I'm gonna make, yeah, 7. Why 7? Because I already strung one up, and because there are 8 connections per pole, and I'm going to be using all of them on 2 poles. That should cover it exactly. I trapped here. There we go. And all of this, I'm wondering, the biomass burner. Where am I going to put it? Those go over there. Now here's the real question. Can I put the biomass burner where I'm standing, or is that going to get in the way of... you know what, strike that. I'm not even going to bother with that question as a question. I'm just going to stick the biomass burner where I'm standing now. "15 rods, 25 wires. Wait a minute. Okay. Sorry, I thought I'd use up the stack of copper ingots. I haven't. I missing anything else? Yeah, 15 rods. This place is getting a bit cluttered up. But I suppose that's an occupational hazard when you have two nodes next to each other and my hub built like right by them. Bit drawn out, wasn't it? Alright. And voila. And since there's only one biomass burner here, I'm going to just dump the fuel in. No need to shut the miner off and then turn it back on because I'm only using one biomass burner. I was beginning to get a little concerned that it wasn't putting out the ore, but I suppose it just takes some time. And the ingots are coming in, and rods coming out. They'll be going into the storage container. That's because the screw factory only makes 10 a second. And they're coming right out again. But they'll be building up in that storage container. And there's the screws. Oh, I didn't know I could yank them off the conveyor belts. I'd do it, but it's a bit confusing.